Hi, my name is Lily Sawyer, and my presentation is going to be on the effects of the coronavirus on college athletes. So, my quote from The Plague is I have no idea what's awaiting me or what will happen when this all ends. For the moment, I know this there are sick people and they need curing. The context of this quote describes the uncertainty of the plague on the entire community of people. This is similar to athletes during the coronavirus because they truly have no idea what awaits them either, or when they will be able to get back to their sport again. Everything is unknown. My thesis, based on my research question, is that the coronavirus has caused a change in the mental and physical health of college athletes and created constant uncertainty in their daily lives. The life of a college athlete is already stressful enough when it comes to balancing school, training, games or meets, a job, sleep, and a social life. While all of this already seems like a lot for a young student athlete, the coronavirus and all of its precautions has created even more stress throughout their daily lives. Researcher Donovan Smalls has found that adjusting to online school alone has increased the anxiety in the lives of student athletes due to distractions that occur at home or work, which affect the athlete's grades and overall performance in school. The only way that a student athlete is able to compete in their sport is by having a high enough GPA and strong worth ethic in school. Online school has already proven to be stressful enough, but when a student is also trying to stay in the National Collegiate Athletic Association for the ability to compete, it can become almost too much to balance. This alone proves that the mental health of college athletes is declining because of the changes the pandemic has put on school life. My friend on the cheer team at Boise State that I interviewed told me that she noticed how drained she began to feel every day due to the everyday stress of online school and also training endless hours without any certainty that she would ever be able to compete. Thankfully, there are many researchers, including Donovan Smalls, that are focusing on the idea of what can be done to, quote, help improve the academic, social, and athletic student athlete experience, end quote. College athletes need to be reassured during this time of adjustment that they are not alone and that everyone is right behind them doing everything they can to provide support. Not only is the mental health of college athletes being damaged, but so is their physical health as well. Even though the pandemic has created a set of precautions nationally, every school is still kind of doing their own thing, depending on the state and who is in charge. During my interview, my friend told me that at Boise State she is training almost every single day for countless hours, but in the end, it is for nothing. The cheer team is told every week that they may or may not be able to perform at a certain game, so they show up to practice and do what they are told, only to always find out that they aren't allowed to perform. My friend has told me that mentally and physically she is drained because of the energy that is put into the workouts every day and also because of the constant hope and disappointment. The physical health of college athletes is also being damaged when programs are failing to stay consistent with social distancing, mask wearing, and many other precautions. My friend has mentioned that while she isn't able to cheer on the football field while social distancing and wearing a mask, football players are still allowed to play a full contact sport without any form of protection. The lack of consistency within college sports is frustrating to many student athletes and their parents as well. If one sport is able to do everything they normally would while still taking precautions, then it only makes sense that every sport should be able to. It was also brought to my attention during my interview that if teams aren't guaranteed competitions, games, or meets, then they shouldn't be overworking their bodies and training every single day. The long term effects of the coronavirus still remain unknown, and many athletes with underlying health conditions act as examples for us that even young, healthy athletes can be at risk. While many colleges across the country have shut down their campus and sporting programs within this past year and been taking all of the necessary precautions, national sports teams have somehow still been able to play and open to the public with limited seating. During my interview, I was told by my friend and some of her teammates that if college sports teams are being forced to come to a halt and take a break for the time being to keep everyone safe, then shouldn't national teams be doing the same thing? Of course, the NCAA and NFL were shut down for a little bit at the beginning of 2020, but they began to open up after a while college athletes were still being robbed of their seasons. Because of certain restrictions the coronavirus has created, such as social distancing and only being around people in small groups, researcher David Waldstein from the New York Times addresses the big athletic events that have been canceled and arenas that have been closed, but also the ones that didn't remain shut down for long at all. Waldstein has found that the four national leagues began to leave it up to fans whether or not they wanted to come to a sporting event and risk their own health. Personally, I think that maybe if these national leagues would have remained shut down the same amount of time as anything else, maybe we could have seen a little more progress with cases going down, as well as stronger mental health in college athletes. The reason that the mental health of college athletes is brought up in this situation is because when these athletes don't have any situation to compare theirs to, then they are more motivated and understanding of the things they have to miss out on. My friend explained to me that it is so difficult for her and all of her teammates to see all of the things that the national leagues get to be doing while they are still struggling to even be able to cheer at a game. If everyone was taking the same precautions and following the same rules for the same amount of time, then we would definitely notice an improvement in not only the health of people because of cases going down, but also in mental health as well. With all of the uncertainty that is going on within college sports during this time of the coronavirus, it almost seems like there is nothing good that is going to come out of any of it, and that we will never know what will happen. However, a couple of questions I asked during my interview were: what are some things you were looking forward to on the cheer team once some of these restrictions are taken away? And also, what has been your favorite part about being a member of the Boise State cheer team despite the pandemic? The answers I received made me feel hopeful for the cheer team and many other teams within college sports because I'm sure a lot of the athletes' mindsets are similar. My friend told me that one of the reasons that she is still so motivated to stay a member of the team is because of all of the things that she knows will be able to happen once everything opens up again. Some of these things include football games, basketball games, competitions, nationals in Florida, and so much more. Her favorite part about being a member of the team has been meeting all of the people she's met and lifelong friends she's made. Even though I'm not a member of any sports team in college, I still agree with how worth it being on campus and coming to college has been because of all of the friends I've made. And I'm sure that many athletes and college students in general can agree with this. Even though the pandemic has created uncertainty for everyone every single day, all of us are still holding on to the future and all of the good that will soon come out of all of the struggling. Without optimism and friends by your side, trying to get through the negative effects of the pandemic can feel impossible. It isn't just college athletes that are getting their experiences taken away from them, but athletes all across the globe have been facing constant disappointment every day for the past year. For example, all of the Olympic athletes that have been training for their event for the last 4 years had to accept the fact that they don't get to compete until summer of 2021. The postponement of the Olympic and Paralympic Games isn't even just athletes being robbed of their competition and chance for success, but also it, quote, represents a significant career disruption. It potentially involves a loss of identity, motivation, and meaning, end quote. Similarly, when college athletes are putting all of their time and energy into one thing and it is taken from them, it almost feels like a part of themselves is shutting down. The athletes that actually have gotten the coronavirus during this time, quote, experienced health concerns as well as insecurity related to physical performance and occupational status. Other sport performers, such as coaches and referees, were also experiencing meaningful changes to their sport engagement and career trajectories, feeling less publicly essential than they were used to. End quote. This proves that there is not a single group of individuals within college athletics or the workforce that are struggling more than another. Even though everyone's problems may be different, they are all still relevant and need to be taken care of to better the physical and mental health of every individual. With all of the stress and anxiety that comes every single day of living during a pandemic, student athletes and individuals in general need to find ways to cope with everything going on in order to remain as happy and healthy as possible. During my interview, my friend told me that the easiest way for her to keep her mental health up and running is by remaining organized and writing her plan out day by day. She has found that the easiest way to get through each day is by knowing exactly what she wants to accomplish and working toward it. Even if the goals are small, it helps to have them for productivity and feeling successful every day. In general, as individuals, we rely on having a purpose. Creating any kind of purpose throughout our daily lives will keep us motivated and optimistic, especially during this time of the coronavirus. Not only does setting goals help, but so does staying connected with others. It was found by health and sports performance psychologist Matthew Sakow, PhD, that, quote, the student athletes who reported feeling supported by and connected to teammates during the lockdown were less likely to feel the loss of their athletic identity. He also noticed an improvement in these individuals' mental health when they remained close to friends and family that are supporting them every single day. Thank you so much to my interviewee for being able to present this information. It was so interesting getting your point of view on college sports during the pandemic. I hope that you and everyone else are able to begin competing soon.